Now, I know I'm late to the party with this one, but this whole quarantine thing has been making me lose my mind. I am currently stuck in the house like a lot of you are, and I've been searching YouTube, going through all the wrestling videos that I usually normally watch, and I haven't heard anyone talking about what I'm about to talk about. All I hear about is everyone talking about all the released wrestlers that got released, all going to AEW. I disagree. I don't think they should all go to AEW because, truthfully, if AEW were to sign all of these people, they would truly become WCW 2.0. And then they might as well hire Vince Russo. Honestly, I think some of them should go to AEW, and I think AEW has their eyes on maybe the ones that I'm about to mention in this list. Well, this list, it's not even really a list. It's more of a fantasy draft, in my opinion, because, like I said, I haven't heard anybody talking about this particular content. So if no one's going to talk about it, I might as well talk about it. I know a thing or two about wrestling. Been watching it my whole life. I did some training, and truthfully, I had kids. I had to stop. But I'd like to get like 3-4 more months of training and at least have one more pro match. But, that's just a pipe dream. So I'll just do a list instead. A fantasy draft, if you will. Welcome to the first episode of Podcastrophe with Justin Draven. I'm Justin Draven, and I'll give you my list. Rusev. Now, he's been on the road a long time with WWE, and he's probably done traveling, and he probably wants to spend time with his wife, so he's not going to go anywhere overseas. If he did, it would be probably Japan. But I think he should go to NWA because they've got like the 80s style. He's got like the 80s style heel gimmick unless he's going to switch it up. But I think he's going to stay with that gimmick. So he should go to NWA. Or, like I said, because he wants to see Lana more when he's home or when she's home because she's still with WWE. He'll probably want to just go to Impact because they have a light travel schedule. I think he lives in Florida. They're located in Florida. It would be just smart. The Bennetts, same thing. I think they should go to Impact. They just recently started a family when they went to WWE. So that would just make sense. Go to Impact. You don't need to go anywhere else. It'd just be easier. Make that money. Stay home with your kids. When we can all get back to regular life. Joe Henning, former Curtis Axel. I believe he should go to New Japan and just dominate. Just reinvent yourself and just become a brute. Take certain aspects of his father's gimmick and just improve on it and just beat the hell out of somebody. Maybe if he can talk to Jim Cornette, get Jim Cornette to manage him on the indies. And, I think that'd be great. And eventually, I see him going to NWA. I don't see him going to AEW. He wouldn't really be a good fit. He's another one. I don't think they should take everybody. My next guy would be EC3. I think he goes to AEW straight out the gate. And if this was up to me, he would go to AEW and he would do something with MJF. Whether it be tag team or versus, he should go against MJF. They have similar gimmicks, and I know EC3 killed his 1%er gimmick recently on a YouTube vignette that he did, or a promo that he cut on YouTube. So maybe he can go after MJF for it. It would just make sense. Eric Young, I think Ring of Honor for him. Honestly, maybe New Japan because he's a physical wrestler. So I figured, he's already been to Impact. He knows what they're about. He doesn't want to do that anymore. Go to Ring of Honor. They have a more physical style. And if you don't like that, go to New Japan. New Japan's a physical style that you like. Might fit. Brian Myers, the former Kurt Hawkins. I think he's gonna stick around and just do his Creative Pro Wrestling. It's a school that he runs, and actually he trained MJF. So I think he should do that, or he should try to get booked in New Japan, because on every podcast I've ever heard him on, he talks about it would be a dream to wrestle in Japan. So if he could get booked in Japan for a run, that would be awesome. And then eventually come back around and go to Ring of Honor. Go to Ring of Honor. You don't need to go to AEW. If not, like I said, he's trained MJF. I'm sure if worse comes to worse, he could find something with AEW. And it would make sense, because if Zach or Matt Cardona eventually goes to AEW, they could bring the Major Wrestling Figure podcast under the AEW brand if they chose to do so, or associate it somehow, maybe on the Jericho Cruise. It would just make so much sense, because he also has the connection with Matt Cardona. So if he ends up going there, they could do something. I know Cardona said he didn't want to tag anymore, but it could make sense, especially if they bring the toy show to that. It would make sense. Now, the one that really has been interesting me, if this was up to me, the Matt Cardona, former Zack Ryder, everyone wants him to go to AEW. Cody Rhodes is talking nice about him on Twitter. I don't think he should go right to AEW, especially if he's bringing out the Internet Championship out of retirement. If that's the case, that thing needs to be defended everywhere. I'm talking everywhere. Cultaholic, What Culture, they all have people that are, close to the business, have some training. Chris Van Vliet, Grimm's Toy Show, they all have training in the ring. Go to NWA, Ring of Honor, defended on Being the Elite. Wrestling with Regret, the Matt Hardy Show, all of those things. It just has so much potential. It could be amazing. And then, AEW Dark, and then eventually bring him out on AEW, because then he'll have time to have honed his new character away from the broski stuff. Rockstar Spud just needs to go back to Impact, or maybe NWA as a commentator, but I don't see any other company really doing much with him. Another person Cody Rhodes was talking about was Heath Slater. So he was saying he doesn't want him, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad for business, but I see Heath Slater going to Impact, but maybe Ring of Honor, because he was talking about getting in shape, baby. So maybe he gets really jacked up and he goes to Ring of Honor and just becomes a brute and just destroys people. That'd be good to see, because I like him, because he's got kids and I got kids. And then when he's done doing his run in Ring of Honor or on the Indies or whatever he does, use that into a storyline with Cody and come into AEW and say he went over his head. You didn't believe in me, dude. You didn't believe in me, Cody. You talked all that trash on Twitter. Well, I got jacked and I'm coming for you, just like everybody's been doing. You know what I mean? Bring them in that way. But you didn't believe in me, so I went over your head. I went to Tony Khan, or I went to somebody, you know what I mean? You went over someone else's head to get to Cody. That could be good. You know what I mean? Use the internet and all this stuff that all the marks and smart marks know about. Use it to your advantage if you do eventually bring him in. And while I'm talking about AEW some more and Cody Rhodes, I know Cody Rhodes has nothing to do with this list because he's nestled himself a lovely little spot in AEW. I'm not hating Cody Rhodes at all. I freaking love what he's done and what he's become and the performer he's turned into. I have one major fault among the few minimal things I have wrong with AEW. The major thing I have wrong with AEW, with Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Elite, They should have never admitted publicly that they were in charge. Never. They should have never admitted they were in charge, because they can never win that way now. If they always win, they're putting themselves over and they're booking themselves to be the top guys. If they put everybody else over, oh, well, you're just using your power to put your friends over. They should have never, ever, ever, ever went public with the fact that they were in charge. So in the future, they should come up with a storyline to where they all fight maybe the Inner Circle for power and they lose, or someone. It doesn't have to be the Inner Circle. Could just be Cody, you know what I mean? Or could just be, I don't think the Bucks really matter. Not to sound mean, I don't think they really matter in that aspect if they're known that they're in charge, or even Kenny. Or put them in charge of other things, you know what I mean? Not necessarily the bookings. Because it just, I don't know, performers, in my opinion, can't be bookers at the same time as they're performing. So that would be my one big problem with AEW and that whole thing. I just had to get that off my chest, because I don't know if I'm going to do another video. I might just do another separate video on that topic, actually, because I don't hear anybody talking about that aspect either. How Cody and the Bucks and Kenny, the Elite, came public with the fact that they're in charge with Tony Khan. I think they should have just had Tony Khan come out and have kayfabe management. Now, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, probably going to go to AEW. But I would like to see them go to New Japan first, reclaim the tag titles, become the best tag team in the world again, then go to AEW, reunite with the Elite, and then wreak havoc, because the Inner Circle just overpowers the Elite. The Elite is off. They're not the Elite. They're Elite by name at this moment in AEW, and that's not how it should be. Eric Rowan, I think, should go to Ring of Honor and continue to do what he was trying to do in WWE, with just the big Viking metal shirt wearing monster. But he'll probably go to AEW, from what Brody Lee let slip on Chris Jericho's podcast, Talk is Jericho. So check that one out. You have to listen good, because it's a quick reference. But he does let slip that he might have been talking to him before he was released, and he had showed interest of going to AEW. While I'm talking about Brody Lee for a second, I need to get this out. I'm a fan of the Dark Order gimmick. I am. I like the Exalted one. I do. I don't even mind that he's bashing Vince in his promos, and it's a parody, basically. I like that, even though everybody bashes Vince when they leave the company, which is fine. I've bashed bosses before. What I do have a problem with is your look. If you're going to go with an evil corporate type gimmick for the Dark Order, which is actually a refreshing take on the cult, shave your beard. You don't have to shave it completely off, but shave the beard. Shave it maybe close to your face and keep the fangs that you have shaved in there. I like that. I don't know if you should keep the man bun. I don't know, but get creative with the hair. But for sure, shave the beard. Maybe get some new ring gear. And it's not a knock, because you're great in the ring. But I would shave the beard. It definitely takes away from the character of being an evil corporate guy. And honestly, you could even work that into the gimmick of the leader of the cult. Like, do the vignette where you shave your beard with the guys surrounding you, or put a barber in a mask for the vignette. I don't know, shave it down and tell them, like, no, I wouldn't tell you or ask you to do something I wouldn't do. So here's the next lesson. To get over, you gotta change, or to take over, whatever whatever it is you do, just do that. I think it would be cool. and unique and interesting. And it would show that you're really trying to take risks as a performer and go out on a limb and try different things. Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno, he'll be fine. I don't really need to book him anywhere because he's been everywhere. So I'm sure he's got connections. He can go wherever he wants. I just really don't know where he would fit in right now. So I haven't really placed him anywhere. Leo Rush is getting into music. So I don't think he's going to be doing wrestling anymore. So I just wish him luck. And I think that's it. I haven't made a huge list about everybody because those were really the only ones that I like. I mean, no offense to anyone else that I left off the list because I know a lot of people got the least, but that's not who I was interested in. It was the ones that I just mentioned. Those were out. That's where I would like to see all of those people go. And if you agree, you leave a comment. Let me know. Dispute it if you want. I don't know. Just keep it nice. Thank you, and see you next time.